Ever wondered what would happen if the Holy Russian Empire from the TNO mod from Hearts of Iron 4 get a communist coup, and by Joseph Stalin nonetheless? Well, this video is basically about that. You see, in the mod, Joseph Stalin, under his birth name Hugo Shivli, was never the supreme leader of the USSR. Bukharin was, which led to the Soviet collapse. By the time Sergei Taboritsky unifies Russia into the nightmarish esoteric fascist Holy Russian Empire, the country is subjugated to chemical gassing, mass purges, and in a totally ruined state. If Stalin, somehow, emerged from the shadows to lead a communist coup against Taboritsky's regime, it would look less like a standard political transition and more like an emergency salvage operation on a dying continent. Taboritsky he is a totalitarian panopticon built on the madness of a cult, waiting for a dead prince, Alexei. A communist coup led by Stalin would have to be an inside job spearheaded by disillusioned Imperial Army officers, surviving left-wing partisans, and factory cells. Once Taboritsky is removed, let's say, Stalin would immediately declare a state of national emergency and Marxist restoration. Unlike the historical USSR, which built up over decades, Stalin here inherits a shattered land. His first order of business will be a violent, absolute de-taborification campaign hunting down the Shturmoviki imperial troopers, breaking the cult influence and neutralizing the chemical weapons stockpiles. The HRE's economy under Taboritsky is a mix of medieval serfdom, slave labor, industrial combines, and chemically ruined agricultural sectors. It is entirely non-functional for the long term. Stalin would implement a brutal version of 5-year plans. Because HRE's infrastructure is gutted, the state would seize every ounce of private property, grain, and machinery left. The economy will transition from an erratic engine of self-destruction to a rigid, heavily militarized command economy designed purely for survival and reconstruction. The impact on daily life for the average citizen surviving in the HRE that will change will be a profound disorienting shift in the type of authoritarianism they endure. The cessation of the midnight clock, for example, the constant arbitrary terror of being gassed or executed by Taboritsky's fanatical purgers because you weren't pure enough for Alexei. That would end. The return of structure. Under Stalin, terror becomes predictable and bureaucratic rather than chaotic. If you do your job, meet your quota, and voice absolute loyalty to the party, your chances of survival skyrocket compared to life under the Holy Russian Empire. The Gulag system would also replace the slaughterhouse. Instead of being lined up and executed by imperial squads, political dissidents, former HRE bureaucrats, and class enemies would be sent to forced labor camps to rebuild the Trans-Siberian railways and factories. Also, the HRE's fanatical twisted version of Eastern Orthodoxy would be aggressively dismantled. Churches would be converted into grain silos or community centers, and state atheism would be strictly enforced. While life under Stalin would still be incredibly harsh, totalitarian, and strictly polite, the average citizen would likely view it as a massive relief. It replaces a regime trying to liquidate its own population with a regime that wants to exploit that population labor to rebuild a superpower. You see, in the TNO universe, Taboritsky's rule inevitably ends in the Midnight Event, the complete and total collapse of Russia into a post-apocalyptic anarchy of warring, irradiated fiefdoms. A Stalinist coup would effectively prevent the Midnight Collapse by replacing a madman's suicide cult with a hyper-authoritarian, hyper-rational steel apparatus. It wouldn't be a free or, let's say, happy to match Russia, but it would be a unified surviving one. Did you like this video? If the answer to that question is yes, then please like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.